What's up guys, welcome to 10 minutes of useless League of Legends information part 9. More like 10 minutes of random information, I'm not gonna lie, I got some useful pieces of info in this one. Also, we are well on our way to 100,000 subs and a face reveal, which is insane, so if you enjoy the channel, please consider joining me on this journey to that milestone by hitting that sub button, and in return, I will show you a picture of a puppy. Alright, let's go. The Lethal Temple art is actually really clever. There's a treble clef in the background that I never noticed before. This is a map that shows every state's favorite video game, and as you can see, Hawaii is the only state that has League of Legends as their top game. Kaisa was one of the first champions to not have inking, which in short terms is the black stroke you see around some monsters and champions. Riot did it earlier on when the game was much more visually busy, but they started removing it because it was such a difficult process. Riot also mentioned that removing inking can help drastically improve your gaming performance. If you're looking to mix things up a bit, there's a battle royale version of League of Legends called Eternal Return Black Survival. It's really freaking cool, and they've been generous enough to be the sponsor of today's video, but if I'm being honest, I was a big fan of this game anyway, so I'm really excited to share this with you. Basically, at the start, you get dropped off at different points around the map, and the goal is to be the last player standing. Just like League of Legends, you can kill monsters to level up, as well as build and craft items to get stronger. As the game goes on, it closes off rooms until there's only one left, where you fight it out to be the last person standing. If you play League of Legends, which I assume is the majority of you, it's super user-friendly because the interface is just like League of Legends, the ability bar is almost identical, and you can even toggle attack move for all you ADC mains out there. Even some of the characters have familiar faces. Looks like I can be a Fiora main here too. Like League, there's no pay-to-win mechanics or systems, and the game gives you playable characters upon just completing the tutorial. And like most battle royale games, it has a solo, duo, and squad mode, and it even has ranked too. The developers constantly update and add new features and characters every 2 weeks, but the best part is it is 100% free to play on Steam, so seriously, make sure to check it out using my link in the description. Thanks Eternal Return for supporting this channel. The outer orange skin raised $7 million for charity, beating the last charity record, which was Dawnbringer Karma, that raised $6 million. The skin cost 1,350 RP, or roughly $10, and all proceeds went to Riot Games Social Impact Fund with impact assets. On a poll with over 15k people, 56% of you said Yone is more annoying than Yasuo. Ironically, Yasuo still has a higher ban rate than Yone at 27.6%, but you know who's not even close to that still is Morgana at a 64.8% ban rate. She crazy. Did you know you can drag people from your invite list into your party to invite them? Like what the heck, I literally just found this out the other day. The animation of you getting turret plate gold will follow back to you and show your location even if you're in a bush. A very unfortunate circumstance for Riven. Okay, this is a really cool one. A guy who goes by ERICRUTHGAMES started developing a retro-style version of League of Legends, which is currently in alpha and is still being worked on for its final release. He mentioned that there will be 30 champions in the final version, and the creator has ties with people at Riot and is hoping to have a good relationship with them pressing forward so that the final project can be finished without any issues. I mean, look at this thing. This is pretty freaking cool. He even created a map for Howling Abyss. You may have heard about this because it was brought up fairly recently, but a project called CHRONOSHIFT was being worked on by some fans for the last 4 years. Basically, it was an idea to develop a legacy server for a 10-year-old version of League of Legends. Unfortunately, it was recently shut down by Riot, which created a bunch of drama in itself, but if you want to read more up on it, I'll leave a link in the description. Somebody once asked a Riot employee how they decide which ability goes on which button, and they responded with, "We tend to want the most core or commonly used ability on Q and the most infrequent or utility-focused ability on W." This isn't always the case, but it's a good rule of thumb. A guy on the EU server named Jack Jewel played 123 games of Phil in ranked solo queue, and this was the result. He got mid lane 6% of the time, top lane 10% of the time, support 19% of the time, ADC 21% of the time, and jungle 45% of the time, almost half of his games. And in case you are wondering, this was all done in silver elo. You can see why Riot is making so many jungle changes though, because nobody wants to play it. If for some weird reason you would want to shoot an Ezreal ult across the map to hit your opponent in the fountain right after they spawn, you would want to press R when their spawn timer was at 11 seconds when in your fountain, 7 seconds from the side lanes, and 5 seconds from the middle lane. And if you were to theoretically have a Jinx on the team as well, it would be about 9 seconds from the fountain because you'd want it to be behind the Ezreal ult. Ashe is about 14 seconds from the fountain, and Senna is about 3 seconds. All theoretical, of course.
Of course.
Did you know you can submit a ticket request to get data such as in-game chat logs from the last 3 months? You probably don't want to look at those though. Some people didn't seem to know this, but if you end the season in gold or higher, then you receive a free Victorious skin. Last year's skin was Lucian, but it's a new champion every year. This can be in solo queue or flex queue, but TFT will not count. Also, in order to receive these rewards, you have to be at least honor level 2. Additionally, platinum and up also receives chromas for the Victorious skins depending on what rank they are. When it comes to Clash, this is how tiers are generally separated. Iron, bronze, and silver are tier 4, gold, MMR+, players are tier 3, Platinum MMR is tier 2, and Diamond and above is tier 1. Riot also bases your tier off of previous Clash tournaments, so if you win a Clash tournament, chances are it'll boost you up to the next tier for the next one. When using a basic ticket, first and second place are the only ones who will get a skin shard. Have you ever wondered if your league username is globally unique? Well, you can see for yourself on Riot's website. This can also help with conflict when changing your name. I'll leave a link in the description. The actual process in naming a champion is actually pretty extensive because Riot needs to make sure it isn't something offensive in pretty much every single language. The word apple could mean fruit in one language and in another. People will build death cap win 60.6% of their games. You can use programs like OBS to blow up your minimap on another screen. Perfect. If you think things are bad now and the old ranked champion select, you only got 3 bans as a team. Not only that, but the first player or captain of the team decided all of them, meaning 80% of the time you would have no control over what champions were banned. This was one of the very first champion loading screens, and this was taken December 18th, 2009, only a couple months after the game's release. Each individual person appears to have their own load timer, and ping also seemed to be a big struggle here. The Oracle range may be a lot larger than you think. On screen it shows a red circle, which appears to be the range, but the actual range is much bigger. Additionally, you can use Oracle to see the Gromp a few seconds before it spawns. Gromp spawns at 1 minute and 55 seconds, and you can also see a small frog right before Gromp fully appears. Historically speaking, blue side tends to win slightly more than the red side just because of the way the map is positioned. The league camera angle naturally gives the blue side team a slight advantage because you can typically see more of the top screen than your bottom screen. One of the rare skins in the game is UFO Corky, which was given to players who had accounts before January 14th, 2010. It was given as a celebration for an award League won that year. Black ALISTAR is also one of the rare skins in the game, and it could only be obtained if you had purchased the digital version of the collector's edition during launch, which barely anyone did because it was free to play. People have paid anywhere between $400 and $1,000 to get the skin though. In Season 3, Riot introduced Tier 3 boots. Yeah, you could actually upgrade your boots from Tier 2, which is the max today. You could basically craft them into 5 different enchantments: Alacrity, Captain, Distortion, Fervor, or Home Guard. Each of these enchantments gave you a small buff, but one of the most popular was Home Guard, which instantly healed you when you backed and also gave you a ton of movement speed out of the fountain so you could get back to lane in just a few seconds. A couple seasons ago, League had buffs for smiting different camps in the jungle. For example, if you smited chickens, you'd basically get an Oracle if a ward spotted you, and if you smited Krugs, you'd stun neutral monsters with every 5th auto attack. And this is what the bottom of Summoner's Rift looks like. As you can see, all the towers are just little nubs. For Seasons 1 and 2, Riot used an elo rating for ranked similar to chess instead of the multiple tier system they have now. It actually would have been very similar to the hidden MMR you have now. Rule 2.4 in Riot's LCS rule set states that all players must have held a peak solo queue ranking of at least a Diamond 1 within the last year to qualify to be in the LCS. In 2019, a Russian esports team called Vivictus Esports was the first all-female team to compete professionally. Unfortunately, they didn't do so hot going 0-14, and they eventually got kicked out of the LCL. If you've ever wondered if you can surrender in pro play, you can indeed surrender in pro play. In fact, it's happened a few times, like in 2016 with SKT versus Fnatic.
We don't even want to see that replay.
No,
They
surrender, ladies and gentlemen. Well, there you have it.
Korean player Khan was fined 1 million won for saying can't win with 4 Chinese in a ranked match. Don't worry, that's only 1k USD, but still. In order to be eligible for the LCS, you have to be at least 17 years old. Riot employees cannot play in the LCS, which makes sense, but I thought you should know. There's a game called LOL Guess that posts an ability and has you guess the champion and ability. There's another game called League of Guessing that posts photos and you have to figure out which champion you're talking about from the photos. I haven't tried it though because apparently you have to have Google Play, but yeah, it looks pretty neat. A couple months ago, this guy on Reddit called Hafulz created his own champion, and it's pretty freaking insane. He did the artwork, the lore, and the animation for it, and he said it took 4 months to work on. Mr. Beast, the dude I'm pretty sure everybody knows by now, plans to eventually own his own League of Legends team, kinda like Nadeshot did with 100 Thieves, and at the rate he's going, I don't see how this would not happen. Hashtag double negatives.
Still thinking of creating a League of Legends esports team. Oh yeah, not even thinking. It's happening. Definitely not this season or the summer split either, but we are definitely gonna have Beast Gaming League of Legends team, 100%.
Here's a pic of Caston that Riot employee Yisis posted for April Fools. The new League of Legends client still had the old runes in it originally, but it got removed before the next season started. It's not something you really think about, but there are a ton of languages in Runeterra, Valyrian just being one. When it comes to queuing and finding a game in League of Legends, you used to have to find your team first, have to ready up, and then find your match with your new team. One of the biggest events to ever take place was in 2017 at the NALCS Playoff Spring Finals, where Mark sang Silver Scrapes, a true piece of art.
You know this song, it is tradition. I want everyone to get hyped, get involved, and sing along with me. Bee woo woo, boo dee doo, boo doo doo.
The recall animation for IG Aurelia was actually thought up of Duke himself. You know how on Nexus Blitz, if the game goes long enough, the Nexus gets up and starts walking towards the other side? Well, there was a glitch that allowed Syndra to pick up the Nexus and throw it into her own fountain. The rock at the bottom of the alcove looks very similar to a helmet and even has eyes in the middle. According to Riot, it takes 6 to 8 weeks for Riot to complete a full skin splash art. Most veteran players know this, or just normal players who have seen old footage, but the Rift used to be divided into a purple base and a blue base instead of red and blue. Volibear and Rammus are the only champions that don't have an epic skin, and technically Seraphine as well. According to a poll with almost 40,000 people, the average person plays 3 to 4 games of League per sitting. For a long time, the skin with the highest win rate was Pax TF because most of the players who had it had been playing for such a long time. Additionally, the highest win rate Yasuo skin is High Noon Yasuo with the JASPER CHROMA, which has a 4 to 5% higher win rate than the base skin, which is the lowest. In case you've been living under a rock, League just announced their first animated series called Arcane that will be available on Netflix in the fall of 2021. People also believe that it'll finally confirm that Jinx and Vi are sisters because up until now it was only a hunch but never officially confirmed by Riot. Pantheon's win rate goes up by 11% when facing a Kiana, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. According to Riot, we'll be seeing 2 more champions based around Viego, which means Isolde may still be coming to the Rift. If you enjoyed, make sure to check out my other info videos here. Anyways, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!